Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is Daniel Umstead, host of the RNG radio show. And I'm not sure if you can recognize this guest. John Barnak is actually coming back on the RNG radio show to let us know what he's been up to. I feel like time is just going by so fast because it's actually been a year since I had him on the show. But I have John Barnak back from Inspire Partners / Real to come and talk to us what he's been up to and just sharing his success. So I'm honored to have him on the show. So ladies and gentlemen, if you could, please welcome John Barnak back to the RNG radio show. John, how you been, man?
Good, man. Thank you for that warm welcome. I appreciate that. It's so cool, man, just having that, that structure there where you've got the radio voice or podcast voice, and you got the intro set up. So I love that, man. This stuff fires me up. I love sharing, what's in my head. I started a YouTube channel just to try to get more of like what's up here out there, and it's kind of cool. Last Friday, I had my first call with somebody who saw one of my YouTube videos and just scheduled a call with me. So
that's awesome. That's what it's about, man. That's what it's about.
Right? So I was like, it was funny too, because it's linked to my Calendly link and just pops into my calendar. And I always check my schedule before the day and before I get going. It's like, okay, I got a call with this Anthony guy a little bit later. We jumped on the call and we started talking, and I realized I was like, I don't know if I know this dude, right? It's like, I don't remember setting a call up with him. I don't remember any conversations we had. And at one point I just said, I apologize. It's like, but how did you get my contact info? Like, how did we get connected? He's like, oh, I watched one of your YouTube videos, and I figured I'd set up a call, because it's like, that's my call to action. Like, hey, if you want to chat more, if you got questions, just feel free to set up a call. And I always include my Calendly link. And he did. So and he's out in LA. So he's on the other side of the world, pretty much, or other side of the country. Yeah. And, we talked real estate, and it happened. So just so happens I've got people in LA I can connect them with. So made some introductions, and, that's what it's all about, right? Getting information out and then helping more people.
That's awesome. Now, with these Calendly calls, and for those that don't know, I use Calendly as well. If you haven't already, this is not by all means any interview / advertisement for Calendly, but it is definitely a great resource and tool, and it's free, folks. There's added additions that you could add on to it, and scheduling, getting text reminders out for your guests and even for yourself. But take a look at it, especially if you're one who may not want to hire personal assistant, get your schedule going. This is a perfect opportunity. Now, for the YouTube channel, where can actually folks go to subscribe and find more information about you on YouTube?
Yeah, thank you for asking. You could just search my name, John. The channel is called John Barnak. So you go to John Barnak, type that into YouTube. I cleaned it up a bit. There's a bunch of, I found it's funny, when I went back, it was probably about 2 or 3 months ago when I started getting intentional about putting out content. I went back and looked, and I had like 50 videos out there, but they were just kind of random, maybe like of a property tour, just something like a new listing I got, or like a 5-minute video I did on, something that was relevant 5 or 6 years ago or whatever. So like I had a bunch of like random stuff, and I looked kind of goofy because like I had short hair, and like I wasn't able to grow a beard back then. So it was a lot different, but I cleaned it up. Got rid of like a lot of the old kind of like fluffy filler stuff, and I'm really being intentional about what I'm putting out, content, everything from like just general mindset to real estate, to building wealth, and everything in between, those categories there. So I'm super excited to get out there, and it was an experience I literally just had last Friday. I just thought it was fantastic that someone saw it. They thought enough about what I put out there to reach out to me and say, hey, I want to have a conversation with this dude.
Awesome. Now, as far as, because I'm sure you don't want everybody, of course, reaching out to you, when you are connected with individuals, what are you looking to pull from those conversations? Or I should say, who are your next individuals that you are either looking to partner up or at least even talk to?
Yeah, no, great question. So, we're building on 2 fronts, really. We've got, a real estate brokerage team that, since we've been at Real for about a year now. And that's really what I wanted to just kind of chat how that experience has gone for us so far. But we've about doubled the size of our team. We've grown into 3 or 4 new states, with a couple more on the horizon, which is, I'm the type of person that's like, I'm always, yeah, we hit this goal or we hit this target, and it would have been nice to hit this target, right? So I
Right.
always think there's another level, kind of crazy like that. But we pretty much doubled our team. Like I said, we grew into a couple more states, which is exciting for just 11 months at a new company, and especially with where they're at. Um, I'll talk a little bit more about some of their numbers towards the end, but we're looking for people that we could partner with all over the country, because we've got two national distribution partners, one with real estate, one with financial services, and we're just trying to help people and really empower people economically. And basically, what I said, I think I threw this out in one of my videos. I don't know if it was like the cash flow quadrant one, or I did one like teams versus groups or something like that. But I think the definition of the American dream is changing. And I think, someone told me the other day that $100,000 is like, or $1 million is like the new $100,000, right? Like like the way the inflation's going, the way that people are like earning potential is going. If you're making $1 million now, it's like you're making 100,000 like 20, 30 years ago. So that's like the new push. Like a lot of the people I'm surrounding myself with, is like, dude, if you're not making $100,000 a month, you're not crushing it, right? That's the type of mindset we're looking for. So we're looking for runners. We're looking for people we could partner with, both or either on the real estate or financial services side. And we know that the wealth game is, we got some exciting projects working on too. I could share about, honestly,
Yeah.
I'm really open to wherever this conversation goes today. But
Absolutely. Yeah, feel
those,
free. I mean, the purpose of it, and this is for folks to listen in on. I mean, let's start with the basics though. You've been in with the company for a year during a pandemic, during COVID, during a scare. We got wars going on. We have conflicts going on, and yet you doubled your team size. There are teams or companies, I should say, that are no longer in business, that have been around for 10, 20 plus years. Pier One Imports. Who knew? So for the fact that you've actually doubled your size, and I'm like you in a way where it's like, I really didn't hit the number that I really wanted to. But from the outside, I want folks to be inspired and be like, hey, wait a second. This guy doubled his team size within a year. I'm still trying to get my first person in through the door. I'm still working on my first sale through the door. So coming into a brand new brokerage, because for those that don't know real, they definitely should be doing their homework. And it's something where it's like, hey, you can just Google real brokerage and find more about it. But for the fact that it's not that big name like EXP, Keller Williams, and being able to double your size, that's something unique. So yeah, would love to hear about upcoming projects that you're currently going on right now.
yeah. So, we're really focused on events as well. We've got an event coming up actually this week, and then we're looking to do them like once a month, both training and recognition. So we feel like recognizing your people is very important, right? The people that are hitting goals, or the people that are producing, the people that are growing, whatever. Excuse me, whatever it might be. People like to be recognized, right? People like to know that people care about them, and people are, for lack of better words, recognizing what they're doing, right? Celebrating their accomplishments. That's what, I don't know if you ever hear, or if you ever listen to like Eric Thomas.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely right. Absolutely love him. So he says, go places where you're celebrated, right? Hang around people that are going to celebrate your success. So that's one thing we're focused on, but then also just delivering phenomenal trainings and, value add events. So for example, this event we got coming up, it's a guy in our team, a guy that we added last year. He's out of Missouri. He does about 30 million a year in sales volume. His first year in real estate, he produced $1 million in GCI. Just got up, right, and he found a system that allows him to create massive sales funnels, and he's going to be sharing that idea. He's going to be sharing that concept. So how do you, Daniel, and I'll just use you as an example. So how do you figure out like what your niche is, what you're good at, and then how do you find and create a funnel that's untapped, right? Basically, you'd be like the first person to get into that niche or get into that market, and then be able to explode your business in a short period of time. So, things like that, where we're just adding so much value. And the idea is that like we add so much value in our trainings, and people see that we're recognizing people on our team, and they're like, why I don't have that at my company, right? Or we're not doing events like this. I'm not learning about this stuff, or I'm not getting this type of recognition, right? Maybe they're at a company and they are producing, but they're not getting recognized for it. So we know that, adding phenomenal value, and then, recognizing and showing people that we're celebrating the people that are having success here, will just continue to attract more of the like-minded people that we're looking to partner with.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And what has been like your pretty much go-to advice? You mentioned Eric Thomas, who I love. It took me a while for the you want to succeed as much as you want to breathe. It took, I'll be honest, it took me a while to finally get it. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. It's a constant repetition. It's a persistence, if you will, to keep going, because the only thing you're focused on, and those who didn't hear the story yet, you're only focused on breathing. So, when the old man pushed his head down the water, and it's like, all right, so for your goals, you should be only focused on that. In the past year, though, what has been like your go-to advice that you go to that keeps you motivated and keeps you going?
Yeah, and I love, being transparent, and authenticity. I think that's like one of the most attractive things, right? And a little humility. And something that I struggle with. Honestly, when we came into Real, it was very clear, right? We wanted to just blow this thing up and explode it. It took us a couple months to kind of catch our stride and get really rolling with it. And it's it's an interesting phenomenon that, like, you're kind of always chasing the next level, and you've got these goals, and I've got, ultimately I want to be making $100,000 a month, and I want to be able to travel the world, and live on my terms, right? Basically do what I want to do. One of my top bucket list item is I want to live on a resort, right? So like a 5-star all-inclusive resort. Like, some people are like, I wish I could go for a week or two. I want to go for 6 months, bro. Like, just slap down 50 grand. Like, hey, give me your suite. I'm just going to live here. And you guys are going to, right? Just going to live my life. I'm in paradise every single day. Right. So, it's cool to have those dreams and have those goals, and, you're hitting benchmarks along the way that keep you on track and keep you focused. But sometimes it gets mundane, right? Sometimes it gets, kind of, honestly, sometimes I feel bored, right? Just kind of doing the same things over and over again. We're doing 5 or 6 fix and flips at a time. We've got a private fund that continues to grow. Right now we're looking at expanding into Milwaukee with some cool people we've met up there, an agent, a contractor, bringing them on our team. So then that way we could utilize all the aspects of our business in that market. But we're expanding there. We've got a project in Atlanta that towards the end of last year kind of fell into our lap, and they needed some help with some gap funding. We just happen to know the right people, and we helped push that across the finish line. And it's going to be the first ever 100% green city in the United States. It's
Wow.
being built in Atlanta. Yeah. So we got like the Wyndham, the Hyatt, Hard Rock Cafe. There's going to be football stadium, a baseball stadium, hospital. It's basically like we're building a small city, and it came to me through like a referral. Someone said, "Hey, I need some help. Do you know anybody?" I knew someone in my network, and now it's just like snowballing into this thing where me and my partners are going to have part ownership in a city, right? It's like,
Wow.
how does that even happen, right? How do you even do stuff like that? So like, we're hitting these benchmarks and these milestones, and and working on things like that. And honestly, it's like a lot of the stuff doesn't even really excite me anymore. It's just like it's become like the kind of norm to add an agent to the team, or talk to the last 2 weeks I've talked to some pretty heavy hitters, agents that are doing 100 million in sales volume, or 350 transactions, or one guy I know has that I talked to 2 weeks ago. He's got 4 offices. He's opening up his 5th. He's got about 350 agents here in this area. And you talk to these people, right, that are accomplishing these things, and building out these infrastructures and these businesses, and you realize they're just people, right?
Right.
It's not like, you get this, like, you hear of like like an Amy Kite or like a Frank Montreux, and like these are some heavy hitters in our area that, if you said their name, almost anybody who's connected to real estate in some way would be like, oh yeah, I know that person, right? They do 1,000 transactions a year or whatever it is. And you kind of like idolize these people, and the things that they've accomplished, and you sit down and get kneecap to kneecap with them, and you actually talk to them and look them in the face, and they're just people, dude. It's like it's just another human being sitting on the other side of the table. And it's just like, it's amazing that the only difference between where I'm at, where they're at, where you're at, or anyone who's watching this who, maybe you're just getting started and you're like, how the hell could I ever be involved in building a city, right? That doesn't even make sense. Or how can I get to, 350 transactions a year? They just did it one step at a time, dude, right? That everything that I'm going through now, and you're going through, and anyone who's watching this video, they go through the same struggles, right? They ask themselves the same questions. They go through the same roadblocks, and they have to do the same. They just do it with such velocity, right, and tenacity, where it's like they collapse timeframes, right, with the amount of effort and work that they put in. And I'll say it always comes back to that work, right? It's just who's doing the work, who's doing it consistently, and who's doing it at that level to produce those types of results. And that's the biggest difference that I found, right? They're a normal person, just like me, just like you, just like anyone who's watching this video. The only difference between where they're at and like where people are trying to get is, they've just either messed up a whole ton more, right? They've made up like 1,000 more mistakes than anyone else, or they've just worked harder at it, right? They just simply have just done more activity to produce more of those types of results. And, in my head, it's like, I feel like I'm getting there, but then also it's like, feels like it's taking forever, right, to get there. It's like, I can see the promised land, right? I can see the goal. I know exactly how to get there, but it's like, all right, I'm ready, right? I'm ready for it, dude. Like, right, we don't need to wait any longer. It doesn't have to take me another 5 years. Let's do it. Let's get it now. So it's, and and sometimes it, like, I don't want to say doubt, because I don't have any doubts that what we're doing works. We've got a guy who in 1 year built his team up to 700 agents, and he's making over $100,000 a month in revenue share.
And this is in a year.
In a year, in 12 months, he did that. We got another guy who in less than a year, because he actually joined that guy's team, he's almost attracted 1,000 agents, right, to his team. We've got another guy, and that's on the real estate side. We've got a guy on the financial side who opened 150 offices before he was 30, and he's been paid, $2 million a year for the last 20 years. So, I mean, there's no doubt that what we're doing works, and we could build it. I guess, for me, it's like I'm impatient, man. It's like, okay, that's all impatient.
But that's honesty. You want that honesty, and you want that out there. I mean, some folks, look at where you're at right now, and it's like, oh man, that's so far away. And you described it best. Hey, we're all human here. There's no difference. I breathe the same. I walk the same, talk the same. Hey, it's regular life. But it's the key thing, work. So if you're not putting that work in, you're going to lose out, and even though it might seem mundane, even though it might seem repetitive, you bringing an agent through the door. All right, great. We got somebody brand new. To somebody else, that's like true excitement, especially if they're getting their team started, but you're at a different level. So bringing another agent through the door, that's supposed to be how it works. Yeah, we're supposed to be having agents come through the door. Now I'm looking for the next level. So I want folks to understand, like, hey, you need to figure out where your level is at to hit. And then once you hit that, keep going up and keep scaling up. So you can be like John, where eventually within 5 years time that he is living on a resort. So I appreciate you breaking that down. I also wanted to know, because I usually help with the plugs here, where can folks find more information about you, website or even on social media that they can connect with you?
Yeah. So, Instagram is john.barnak, at john.barnak. Working on building that out, putting more content out there. Facebook's John Barnak, LinkedIn's John Barnak, right? So use it. So you could probably just Google John Barnak, or John Barnak Realtor, and a lot of this stuff will come up. I've got a digital business card that I created, and I'm constantly tweaking. I'm very, there's certain things I'm like OCD about, and like, I just like, I don't know if I'll ever have it perfect, right? The way that I want it. But it's good, right? It's good enough for people to get general overview about who I am, what our team offers, what services we provide. So you go johnbarnak.com. You got, my own website there. Excuse me. YouTube is John Barnak. Pretty much everything. It's just John Barnak. So if you Google John Barnak on any one of those platforms, you can find me out there, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like I said, there's a lot of good content out there. I'm already starting to get people to reach out to me. I've only been doing that for about 2 months now. So that's already a pretty good sign. I think I got 500 views last month, which doesn't really sound like a lot, but 500 views, and I had one person reach out to me. So, I mean, if that's the trend,
That's the conversion.
You know what I'm saying? Then that, all right. So now I just push for my next, how quick can I get to my next 500 views?
Awesome. Awesome, Matt. Well, I really appreciate you sharing that. And again, thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate having you here. Is there anything else that you would like to share to the public to know more about you or find more about you, John?
Yeah, a couple quick things. So, been at Real for a year, and I know we originally talked when I first went there. A couple things I'll say about their company. The transparency and the leadership there is just phenomenal. I've never been at a company, at least that's this big. And I say this big. When we joined, there were 1,600 agents. We're approaching 5,000 now, so less than a year later. So we're getting we're starting to hit a pretty cool stride. We've got, me and my partners have just under 10,000 shares. We're closing on 10,000 shares in less than a year. So that's exciting too, to start, to accumulate those, knowing that the company's going to grow. But I think most importantly, over the last year, the thing that I've loved and appreciated most about this company, like I said, is the leadership and the transparency. They're always letting us know what's coming up, what they're working on. They're very open to taking feedback from the team. There was, one thing that they changed, like with the comp plan, and then the field didn't like it. And people were very vocal. They said, hey, this isn't going to work. We don't like it. And within a week, they rolled it back. They said, all right, cool. We heard you we made a decision, put something out there. We heard you guys, we got the feedback. Obviously it doesn't work for the majority of you. So we're gonna roll that back, and then we're gonna figure out a way to do it that makes more sense, right? So that type of collaboration, that type of support, not just from the other agents around. I mean, everyone's like, it's a very sharing, giving community all across the board. But not just that, but coming directly from the top, to have that type of openness, transparency. Hey, we did something, or hey, maybe we made a mistake. To come out, candidly say that, and then take the feedback from the field, and then make the adjustment to keep us moving forward and heading in the right direction. Amongst all the other, and I'm not a very pitchy type of person, right? I think like attracts like, so I share my mindset, I share my vision, I share what I'm up to, and if people want to partner with someone like that, right? Or if they're attracted, I think the right people just be attracted to it. Like, holy shit, I like what this dude's working on, right? Or I like his position that he's in with this company. I want to learn more about it, right? So I'd rather attract people that way than just say, oh, we've got better splits, right? Or, hey, we've got this cool new tech tool on your phone that you could do. Because then it's just, if you're just building that way to like the next shiny object, or like the next higher split, then what's to stop that person from going to the next best split, right? Or to the next shiny object. So I'm more about, how do we build a long-term relationship? How do we grow a partnership that's going to be mutually beneficial for both of us, and helping us and helping everyone that we're working with accomplish that overall goal. And like I said, I think the new American, they say like the American dream was owning a home. I think the new American dream is financial freedom. And I think more and more people are going to be chasing that, especially now with like our generation. I think we're about the same age. I think our generation is right. Our generation is focused on that freedom, right? Freedom from money, freedom of time, freedom from even their work, right? More and more people want to work remotely and do what they want to do, choose the hours that they want to work, make the money that they want to make. So I think $1 million is going to be like the new 100,000 pretty soon here. And I think $1 million a year. And I think financial freedom is the new American dream that is starting to bloom now.
Absolutely. No, and we see it, I think the advancement with social media, I mean, they're even pushing it for the college students now, to get on social media, to start making those connections, because it is that much easier. And what I even see, because when I'm talking with the candidates in the C-suite now, it is based upon, okay, what's your salary comp, and what's your bonus, but that equity piece, that's the long-term goal, and that's all I'm hearing from everybody. It's like, all right, well, what's going to be the long-term equity in this? And I think that's for everybody coming down to it. It's like, all right, me making X amount of dollars a year is great, but I need to figure out how this is going to cover me for the next 10 years, for the next 15 years, for the next 20 years. Because although it's great to have a home, but once you realize the debt that you're in with this home, it's like, all right, I need to figure out how to make this into a cash flowing home. And, you have the opportunities for house hacking. House hacking isn't something new, but it just seems to be more cooler now, especially for a college student. Like, wait a second, you telling me I could still live with the same number of people and live rent free? And pretty much I just use that towards my next investment. And because there's this thing called 1031 exchange, I don't even have to pay taxes on it. So there's so many different avenues now. And it's not just, oh, you got to speak to somebody's uncle, somebody's grandma, somebody's granddad who did it before. Now it's like, oh, I could just go on Calendly and connect with John Barnak, who can break this down for me. So I want folks to take advantage of that with that financial freedom. Talk to the people who are working on financial freedom, and you're going to see that much better light. Nobody's saying that you got to quit your job. Nobody's saying that you got to give up your field of dreams career or what you want to do, but it's going to be a whole lot easier if you're making 70, 80, let's say 90K a year for one job, but you're bringing in 20, 30, 100K a month just doing real estate. And no person on this earth, and it's just been shown, the highest amount, or not so much the highest amount, but the known way to grow your investments is through real estate. I mean, you're building a city, John. So if folks aren't clicking yet, like, maybe I should get into real estate. I don't know if I should get in real estate. Maybe I should expand upon real estate. It's a yes, yes, and even more yes. Companies haven't doubled the size of their team in a year. Companies haven't brought on, what were you saying, 700 plus agents, 1,000 plus agents, 1,000 plus employees. I'm at a company right now, we're at 37 employees, and it's a great company, but we're still working on structuring as far as to doubling our size, hitting at least a 55 number before the end of the year. And we got great things to offer, but it's nothing like real estate. It's nothing like real estate with return on investment. It's nothing like real estate where you're bringing somebody else in and you're partnering, working on further deals, and it's not closed in. You had mentioned, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You connected with somebody in Los Angeles. You got the deal going on in Atlanta, Georgia, building a brand new city. So it's just all encompassing, and we haven't even touched international waters yet. So I could go on and on, man. But yeah, if folks haven't gotten already, like, all right, how do I make my current career pathway involved with real estate? I think the first thing needs to start with having that conversation with John. So.
Yeah. Well, and I think there's one thing that you said that really stuck out in that you said, should I or shouldn't I? And I think the most important thing is make a decision, right? Like indecision is, the death of all action. And people will oftentimes think about doing something or consider doing something for way longer than what it'll actually take to make that something happen. And, I would rather, and, I tell people this when I talk to them, it's like, dude, it's like, I don't, I'm not attached to what your decision is, but for your sake, just make a decision, right? Because once you make a decision, then you can start taking action, right, in that direction or in the direction that you choose. But indecision will keep you in the same place forever, right? If you just
in that rat race.
yeah. So it's like, dude, it's like, I don't, whether it's real estate, financial services, what you're working on, cryptocurrency, I don't care necessarily what it is. Like I said, I'm not attached to your way of creating financial freedom. I've got two very clear paths that I'm running down and right that we're creating some good results with, and following other people that have already done it. But to say, I think I will, or I want to do it someday, but not today or whatever, that will keep you in the same place. And like, I'm finding right now, dude, I don't know about you, but like weeks are starting to feel like days, right? And months are starting to feel like weeks, where it's like, I wake up and it's like, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and it's going to be Thursday, right? This week's already going to be gone.
Thursday in July, like, wait, what the shit just happened?
It's already done, right? So
Right.
it's like that. What pains me the most is just to watch people struggle with just making a decision, because I know that is just holding them back and it's keeping them stuck. So like I said, I'm not attached to what your decisions are and how you plan to accomplish your goals, but make a decision so you can start taking action on it and start moving forward. And if you need help, have questions about anything that we're working on, like I said, I'm always open, right, to talking to people. Obviously, I'm just putting my calendar link out there in the internet, which could get dangerous at some point, but we'll cross. This would be a good problem to have, right? If I got too many people to talk to.
Well, no, I got 20 people that want to sign up in a day.
I'll figure that out, right? I'm sure it'll work itself out. But I'm here as a resource. Like the guy connected with me in LA. All I did was connect him with people I had in LA, so that he can get more help doing real estate out there. And then obviously you're a conduit for that as well, right? Doing these types of interviews, connecting people, getting this information out to more people. You do what I do, but on like a 10 times, because I'm sure you're talking to more people than just me. So you're actually a conduit for other people to move forward with their lives and create their dreams and goals too. So I appreciate you, man, for doing this. Thank you for bringing me back on here a year later. Didn't get into like too many like nitty gritty numbers, but we're making some good strides. We like the choice that we make. We love the choice that we made. And in making that choice, that final decision, it's given us the ability to just sprint in a direction. So that's what I would recommend to anyone watching this. No matter what direction you want to go, make that decision, burn the bridges and go.
I love that, man. Love that. Well, John, thank you again so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate having you here, and we'll definitely be chatting soon again.
Looking forward to it, man. Thank you for the time. Appreciate the support, sir.
Definitely.